this is the backup to Stratus?
This is the backup provider contracting and resolutions on the inside page. Any questions? Bill?
I'm afraid I didn't have a chance to read through the contracts in detail that we had before us, but I just wanted to make sure we have had an attorney review them, right?
We did, our legal counsel did review it. He had a few recommendations, and Stratus was willing to work with us on the most important ones.
Question by an attorney. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Motion for E23-156. Came in, motion by Prail, second by Atkins. Any questions on this? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And then finally, inadvertently, we left off the fourth quarter payment for EDC. Can I get a motion for E23-157? Motion by Schneider, second by Graff. Any questions? Right?
Yeah, how much is this fourth quarter payment? Just curious.
18,750 quarterly. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are out of executive committee and back in full board. Can I get a motion for E23-155? Motion by Nelms, second by Kriebel. This is the Stratus. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Motion for E23-156 to get this on the floor. Motion by Atkins, second by Joesting. Any questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. And then finally, the fourth quarter payment for the EDC. Can I get a motion? Motion by Schneider, second by Rich Stimson. Any questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. I just wanted to give a quick update on where we were at with the building, and if anyone has any questions, this is kind of the time to do it. Just a quick background. In early October, I sent a survey out to all the board members asking what their preference would be. I said that if you had any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I heard back from 15 of the 21 board members. Of the 15, 13 supported the large building, the 60 to 80,000. 2 people supported the 3-courtroom option, and I didn't hear back from the other 6. So I think there's a consensus there. In September, we unanimously passed to go out for a construction manager and an architectural firm. So based on that, based on what I'm hearing from the committee, that's what our plans are. You can see the demolition is coming along, the arcade building over there. But I don't know if there are any questions. I think one of the reasons I hear a lot of laments that we didn't build this building in such a way that we could expand it. And so I think that's one of the reasons that many people voted to go with the larger option. Bill and then Greg.
Do you have a time frame, not just for having contracts signed, but to actually begin construction and other milestones that would occur along the path of getting this built?
My hope is to have it built by December of 24, but that's not gonna happen. So, we talked about passing something in January for the architectural firms, but it would be a little quick and we wouldn't have time to pull things up. So we're shooting for February, when we'll have the documents hopefully ready to go out for bid. It'll take a while. I don't even know if we'll be opening bids it may be into the next fiscal year of 25. So I don't know how long this process takes. Yeah.
If I can follow up, I know that the ARPA money has a definite time by which it has to be, I believe, committed or some other term of art for, we know what we're spending it on and we have a clear goal. There's a time frame for when it has to actually be spent too, I believe. And I understand that we've been allocating money to other projects, freeing up capital funds, who then go towards the new courthouse building. So are we looking at having all ARPA money spent by the end of next year, or is there a different time frame with regards to that?
As I understand it, all will have met every deadline. Greg?
Yeah, I got several questions. Evidently, somebody's been meeting to move this thing forward. Who's been meeting?
So, I've been meeting with Nick and Greg Longfellow and Mike Harris, and we've just gotten together periodically to discuss the building, and then whatever we discuss there, we present to the board, and then the board votes on that. And so I think we've met 2 or 3 times over the course of the last year and a half.
Okay, well, that, if we agree to an architect and, we're basically just, we're done. I mean, cause they're gonna start designing this thing. So where's the input come from the principals, the ones that's gonna affect the most? Mike Hobson, the sheriff, I don't know, I mean, this is gonna affect them the most, but I don't hear their names. As state's attorney, you know, things have changed in the last month. We know who the new chairman's gonna be. Has he had been any input on this? This really concerns me that we're moving forward here without, and you know, I understand why we have working committees or whatever you call them, I don't know, but I really think that we should make a standing committee so it's public. All the people you named, I like y'all. I'm not, this is not, but this is for the count, this is a big deal. This is not some little project.
Right.
And we need to do it right. And we need input. And once that architect, you know, yeah, they'll come to us and say, yeah, we got this, yes or no, but the architect is not gonna have the county's best interest in mind. If we give them a $40 million, I can't even remember, number, they're gonna spend it, and then we'll go over. I'll guarantee you. I've never seen a project that didn't go over. So, I gave a qualified answer when we did this survey, and so it wasn't exactly what was put out there. And I'm just a little worried about going off a survey, you know, that's just kind of got general questions. I think we need to drill down a little more and make better plans. You know, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but there's a lot of frustration here, right, from people that, you know, we've been working on this how long?
2 years plus.
Yeah, and you know what it makes me think of? Is a guy that I used to work for, and he said, do something even if it's wrong. And I know that that's a different context, and I don't mean any disrespect, but let's do it right. Let's not do it just to get it done.
I agree, and I don't think we're doing that, Greg, and there's still a lot of outstanding questions, what's happening next door. Just to answer a couple of your questions, the construction manager works for us, not the architect, and they work through the entire design phase to keep costs in check. So they do work for us. As far as the electeds, I mean, I've met with Link a couple of times, met with the state's attorney. I've talked to a lot of the countywide electeds, and I guess one thing that I would like to say is that my phone actually receives phone calls too. I'm not trying to be sarcastic here, but when I put in a memo, if you have questions or input, please give me a call. And when I don't hear things, I assume people support what's being proposed. So, and you know what, not everybody supports the way the board's going, and that's fine. To try to get 22 of us to agree on anything would be virtually impossible. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I understand, Greg, and there's still a lot of outstanding questions, what it's gonna look like in the end, what offices are gonna be in there, but we're at least taking some steps moving forward. Max?
A couple of questions for you. Are you planning to put together a standing committee for the building project? I mean, it sounds like you say, there's consensus to build something, so is there gonna be, are you just gonna run this all through property, or how are we, what are, Mr. Longfellow smiling. What were you planning to do, I guess?
Property committee right there. With the input of executive and the ARPA committee.
Because a lot of special projects get their own committee, so to me it's a little strange that we wouldn't appoint a standing committee for one of the largest construction projects in the county history. So we appointed a broadband committee and we have never done anything, so, to be fair. So, I agree with Greg. I think, like I just said, pretty large construction project, gonna have a huge impact on the county. I understand not everybody agrees. I think that, as you mentioned again, there's support to do a project like this, and I think as a board, I think to know that there's more than just a few people pushing a timeline down. I don't think anybody wants to be on a standing committee to slow things down. I think everybody just wants to feel like they have input and that the stakeholders are actually at the table, which as of right now, it doesn't quite feel like that. Yeah, but we're early, it's early, right? We've got bids out and there's a lot of still stuff going on, so. I have to agree with Greg a little bit. It would be nice to have at least a standing committee of more than just a couple people, and including the elected officials and other stakeholders, whoever that may be. So, thank you.
Danny?
If I could just comment and kind of reiterate a little bit. I don't think that the architect is going to take off and run with it. Number one, construction manager at risk is going out for bid at the exact same time. We have an RFQ and an RFP. Construction manager at risk is the third leg of our team. So we have our architect, we have the county, and we have our construction manager at risk. If I understand, I think we would go for a guaranteed maximum price. So they're going to be doing 30% drawings, 60% drawings. So back to Bill's comment, it's going to be time consuming. They're going to be looking to contractors. They're going to be getting budget numbers. There's going to be a lot of input. There's going to be a lot of time for input. But if we don't get these two professionals on board, we will never move, no matter how many standing committees we form.
Of course, there is the acquisition of land that's required to ramp up to your 80,000 square feet. How is that acquisition coming with the bits and pieces that you are requiring? I spoke a little bit about vacating Elizabeth. I think everybody's understanding of that. But what about other acquisitions that are required so that you can build 80,000 square feet? How is that working out?
Pekin City Council, we're waiting on them right now.
Mike, you were pretty optimistic all along that it would be this time, and we've not, and it just seems like that's been kicked down the road. Obviously, we're hoping for another bite at the apple since we kinda, were outfoxed by an individual with envision sake, EnviroSafe, but, in any event, if this doesn't go through with the bits and pieces that are required for the 80,000 square feet, and if we connect with the architect and the manager and go this route, we're spending money on something that we don't even know is going to pass. And I'm just curious, are we putting the cart ahead of the horse? Are we going for the full tamale, and what do we have as a backup?
So we'll know about those lots before the architectural bids go out. So we're not gonna put the cart before the horse.
Okay. And perhaps because we're in a lame duck period, with your departure, I'd like to hear from, the new chairman on what direction they wish to take. And knowing that that's going to happen, I think it's very important. I think, Board Member Mendel mentioned that. I think it's important that we get on board and look at the opinion of the new chairman and his team and get their opinion. And I'm a little bit, again, concerned. I didn't like the idea of the special committee being formed and you guys meeting. And again, it gets back to my concern about, it just has a feeling that we're all not part of the process. And I would have liked to have heard more from Chairman Longfellow in land, but he seems to have been watching from the background, and I just really don't know if I like that. And I feel we need to be more transparent, like Max was saying, so that we can all be better equipped. I just feel that things are rushed. We don't have enough
You made your point. Nancy?
Well, in defense of what's been done so far, I am a little offended by the comments that were just recently made, because we have been working as a board, as a team, trying to make some decisions that have been very difficult and made more difficult because of some situations that occurred not under our control, specifically the Pekin City Council and the time that it's taken for them to make a decision and then unmake a decision and then make a decision again. And we've been trying to move forward, but I just think it's been difficult. So I would like to credit what's been done so far. I think there's no problem with having other people on the committee if that would be workable. But 20 of us cannot be on a committee. We know that does not work real well. So I trust the committee that we have so far. I have no problem with Brett Grimm being a part of that committee because yes, he will probably eventually be helping to lead the team. I just think it's wrong to start picking at the committee right now, and let's just let the pieces start falling in place and see what happens. And maybe in a month or two, something different will have to occur. But we don't want a 20-person committee. And I trust that our chairman's been talking to the electeds, and I hope that what's been done so far has been, we've done it as well as we can, and we'll just keep at it. Bureaucracy drives me crazy, as it probably does all of you, but we're stuck with that. And it's not, no insult to anybody here, but let's work as a team instead of picking at the bones all the time and trying to find reasons for not doing the project. Let's just keep going.
All right. Any other comments? Greg?
I appreciate Tammy's comments. I'm not in construction. I don't understand how that all works. But still, we need input from the people that this whole project is gonna affect the most. And I don't get the feeling it's there, and yeah, they could call, but I don't know. I just think that we need more input. And believe me, I'm not vying for a position on the committee. That has nothing to do with my comments.
Bill, one-sided input. I see we have Judge Gorman in the back. Judge, if you'd like to add any comments, please feel free. You can come use the microphone or talk back there.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, I would just like to thank all of you for considering this building and the chairman for his efforts throughout this time that it's been going on. I think the first time I came to discuss this, it was in June of 2021, I believe. And I appreciate the ongoing efforts. From where I sit, I've had many meetings along the way with various stakeholders. Obviously, we as the judiciary wants to work with the county board and cooperate. This is an opportunity that, you know, may not be available again. And as I stated when I came in June of 2021, it's a great building, but the time has passed, and with every passing year, the issues of security and technology are limited by that building. And I appreciate the upgrades that have been made, but numbers are going up, cases are increasing, and I got numbers from the circuit clerk's office. I mean, felonies are up 150 cases from last year, misdemeanors 322 from last year, and traffic 1,625. So I know you've heard about remote and the use of remote, and will we need a larger courthouse? I'm here to tell you, business is booming at the courthouse. And I've been here, I've covered along the way. I haven't been here permanently since 2020, but I come and cover from now and again. And that courthouse is like an anthill all day, every day. And this is an opportunity to attach the courthouse to the jail, which is a huge safety issue. When you're transporting these prisoners, 12 at a time, transporting them up to the 3rd floor, either by the steps with the general public or the elevator, all crammed in there, it's not safe. Something could happen. And so the judges are completely behind this project. I'll be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have. Yes?
Bill?
Your Honor, I have my own opinion on this. I personally think that the effect of the Safety Act is going to be pretty much nil by the end of the year. And we'll have exactly the same numbers in jail, if not more. And that the issues with regards to transport of prisoners will be just what they were a year ago, if not worse. What is your opinion with regards to that? And what is your experience so far, if you can speak to that?
I can. Not here in Tazewell, but in Peoria, the numbers have not changed appreciably, and as predicted, people aren't showing up, so we issue warrants just like the old days, and then people are in jail, and then they have to be transported. And it has not had the impact that you might have heard it's going to before it was enacted. Now, I'm not saying I completely agree with it, but that's what we've got, and we need to enforce it. But as far as the numbers are concerned, the jail's not empty in Tazewell or Peoria, and the numbers are creeping back up to what they were pre-Safety Act for reasons, that people aren't showing up just like they did when we set bonds. So.
Can I follow up?
Yes.
Another thing that I've heard some people say is that because of Zoom technology or because of being able to take care of cases without actually being present in the courtroom through court call or other type of technology, that the number of people using the courthouse has actually gone down substantially. Any truth to that?
That has not been my experience, and I was very involved with the drafting of the Illinois Supreme Court order that provided for remote appearances in court. And the judge has discretion. judges do incorporate Zoom, into their daily court calls, but there's still plenty of lawyers and litigants coming through those doors to litigate their case. And so, from my perspective, my felony docket call looks the same as it did before COVID, before Illinois, Supreme Court Rule 45. Where it's really had an impact is with prisoners in the Department of Corrections. That's really the only appreciable impact that I've noticed, for people coming in and out of the courthouse.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Any other questions for the judge? Any other questions? Nick?
Got a couple comments. The first one, probably the most important one, is I was under the impression that Dave Zimmerman was the chairman until November 30th, 2024. And as chairman, I expect him to do his job. Does anyone disagree with that?
My wife?
Second thing is, we just suffered through a major incident that we thought would never happen. And look what it did. We're spending tons of money. We knew it was a potential problem, but we didn't do anything about it. And we got hit cyber attack. We know it's a problem at the courthouse. The courthouse was built 105 years ago, when the population of Tazewell County resembled Mayberry. We're no longer Mayberry. We are a large county in Illinois that has a large public safety presence, largely because of our neighbor to the northwest. But we are doing more business than we've ever done before in that courthouse. I don't want to see us have another experience, another issue like we just had with the cyber attack. I don't want to see that happen. We've got an excellent opportunity with free money to build this facility, 50 cents on a dollar, 60 cents on a dollar, whatever it is. We need to take action to do something for Tazewell County for 50 years to come, if not more. This is our opportunity. Every year we wait, we're going to spend more money on whatever we do. Whatever we do. So, I was under the impression too, and maybe Tammy can help me understand, when we do the plans, when they go out to design the building, won't they be talking to the stakeholders to determine what we need to build? That's what I thought. The building I built in Morton, they talked to us, we hired an architect, and then we planned the building. I would assume that process would repeat itself here. We would plan the building after we hire the experts to design that. So I think we need to just keep moving forward. Is everybody going to agree? No. I've been accused of being a fearmonger for saying something bad's going to happen in the courthouse. I hope it never does, but I don't want to be the one that says I told you so. So I think it's important for us to move forward. And the one question I do have, did we save the arch?
Yes. Thank you, Nancy. Roy?
Yeah, respectfully, it's taxpayer money, it wasn't free money. And the concern with some of us in regards, it's not, yes, I believe with what Your Honor had said, that we are in the business of crime. We have a jail, and this is our paradigm. We have to prepare for the future, and I agree with Board Member Graff on that. I'm just concerned about cost overruns and putting the cart ahead of the horse with this. We haven't got the acquisitions of land squared away yet, but the money's not free. It was provided by taxpayers, and we are in the business of crime, and that's why we have a jail, and this is our paradigm. It does affect us in many ways for economic development. People are reluctant to come to our city, to our county, because of the situation we're in with what we made a decision on many years ago. And yes, we do need to have a justice center. What are the other options besides just 80,000 square feet? And that's all a few of us are asking is, can we expand and start smaller just so that we can mitigate any cost overruns? I don't know if it's 50 cents on the dollar or 60 cents on the dollar. I don't really think we know any of that. We were surprised at the cost overruns already with the original tranche, which was 25 million that we spent, and I think we're probably down to about 15 million now. Of course, it wasn't just all because of the preparation with the buildings. We spent it on other items. So looking at that and understanding that we did not foresee some things that became expensive, this is the concern. Yes, the population of Tazewell County is decreasing. Yes, the population of Pekin is decreasing. But for whatever reason, crime is increasing, and that's our business. So I agree, we need a justice center.
Max, then Bill?
Did you feel like you got what you needed out of this discussion?
It was just an update.
Okay.
No, this is great.
It's the only
And
question I have.
appreciate, I mean,
Yeah.
I value people's input. I want it. Thank you, Max. Bill?
I want to go back to something that Mr. Paget mentioned earlier, and he was talking about a number of different things, but the one thing that I'm particularly interested in right now is the vacating of the street. Is that scheduled to come before the city council for a vote anytime soon?
First meeting in January, yes.
Okay.
So in about, I guess, 2 weeks, week and a half.
And there has been some change, I believe, on the membership since the last time it came up for a vote, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Nancy?
It's been bandied about the EnviroSafe project, well, it's not the project, but the owner, and Rick's TV building. Do we know anything specific? I mean, Mike has been trying to keep us updated based on what the city council does, but where are we on that at this point, Mike?
Sometime back earlier this fall or summer, the Rainy Price had offered to build his building farther down on Second
Mr. Chairman,
Street.
is this an appropriate comment for open session?
There's really not much happening right now. Just be careful and.
Yes, yeah, so in open session, he had offered to build the building farther down on Second Street. And so that is being explored by the council. And so that would then free, and he offered to relinquish his interest in the lots. At this point, since he hadn't met some of the requirements, that time has expired. I don't believe the city council has asked for that land back, but he's offered to openly give that land back if that deal were to happen.
And I know we're concerned about cost overruns, that's why we have that construction manager, but I was recently reminded by someone that this building actually came in $1 million under what we had anticipated. So I know it's kind of a crazy market right now, and we'll just see how things pan out. But I appreciate everyone's input. Bill?
I'm sorry, but mentioning this building coming in under budget, while I agree with you, it did come in under budget. I think that part of our problem right now is based on it coming in under budget, because the choice to not be able to expand upward was, it's directly responsible for us needing to build across the street. And so there's good under budget and bad under budget, and I don't know that this building can be a good example of being under budget.
All right. So noted. Any other comments or questions? Roy?
Yeah,
Related to the building.
Yeah, the amount of courtrooms, I have not heard a number on that, and I just wonder if Your Honor would have a number in mind so that for planning purposes, we have an idea. What are the number of courtrooms we require?
So the survey I sent out, Roy, said, I didn't hear back from you, but it was 6 courtrooms is what we're asking for.
I'm sorry, I was traveling and I couldn't get your text messages, so.
That was an email. So,
My email was down, I'm sorry.
all right. Any other unfinished business? Thank you, everyone, for your input. So, it's the last time I'll ask for that. So. Any new business? Hey, everyone have a Merry Christmas, and we're recessed until January 31st. Thank you, everyone.